Hello, holiday conspiracy buffs. Okay, for this week's story, we're going to address a problem that people had and complained about with our last story. We had many people in the comments saying that we got the kid's name wrong in our last video about the real story of Christmas. People were saying things like, the kid's name wasn't Chris, or his name was Christ. But the fact of the matter is that in ancient Hebrew the letter T was silent, so his name may have been spelled C-H-R-I-S-T, but they just would not have pronounced the T. The thing that is really interesting to me, however, is how so many of these so-called religious types are so quick to act like they know more about Chris's name than anyone else, but they never seem to ask why. According to their own so-called religious doctrine, Chris's first name is a swear word, a word that, according to their own traditions, they are not allowed to say, but somehow this swear is Chris's first name? Well, smash that like and subscribe button, because I am going to tell you a fact that they and the Department of Holiday Security don't want you to know about. Today's video is the origins of the name Jesus Christ. As explained in an earlier episode, Chris's stepdad Joe was a carpenter, and like most carpenters, Joe, he didn't use such good language, especially when he would get frustrated. And at the time, his favorite swear word was Jesus, so it was always Jesus this and Jesus that whenever anything went wrong. Now, Chris went to work with him when he was about 13 years old, because back then there was no internet or public school, so it was really important for a kid to learn a trade, or they would literally have nothing to do during the day. And even though Chris was like the son of God, he was young. He still made mistakes every now and then. Well, when he did, old Joe would go ballistic, screaming stuff like, "Jesus, Chris, where's your tool belt? Jesus, Chris, what do you think we're just going to stand around and look at the wall and it's going to go up by itself? Or, Jesus, Chris, you nailed this entire row of roof and shingles all cockeyed. And most frequently, just Jesus pick up this mess." Well, the name just kind of stuck. And the really interesting thing was that Chris was totally cool when other people started calling him Jesus too. He just went along with it. He was really kind of a cool kid like that, like they would try to make fun of him by calling him this name, but instead he just took that name on and made it part of his identity and made it sound cooler than anything. Pretty soon he had a whole posse of close friends that would give people a hard time if they didn't show him the right respect. They would demand that people call him by what by that time became his full name, Jesus Christ. And that is how Chris got the full name we all remember, Jesus Christ. It was just a nickname that stuck.